be good for me. Lately I was feeling like I need a purpose. But when you talk to me, give me the impression that I won't scratch your surface. And I could walk for days, searching for your praise. But is it even there to find? Is there a chance for me to win your memories? Will I slowly lose my mind? Lost in your maze, stuck in your gaze. How can I get out? I'm out of time to make you mine. Baby, show me how. For days, searching for your praise. But is it even there to find? Is there a chance for me to win your memories? Will I slowly lose my mind? Lost in your maze, stuck in your gaze. How can I get out? I'm out of time to make you mine. Baby, show me how. Make you mine, make you mine. Baby, show me how. Make you mine, make you mine. Baby, show me how.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone has had a really great cup of coffee and has got the energy to be part of day 2 of Create Your Dream Event Planning Business Challenge. We are excited to be with you. We have a really unique day. I don't want to share too much with you other than it is important steps that you need to allow yourself to be known. And being known is the topic of day 2, because it's important to have the content and the understanding and the education on how to run your business, but people have to know what you do and who you are and why you should be hired. And that is not the easiest task. It sounds like it's a very simple thing when you talk about yourself or you talk to others and you find out about people, and it trickles down because you become an asset that people want to really understand if you should be hired. But there are so many unique ways to have people find out who you are and why you are so wonderful at what you do and what makes you stand out and step up and now be known. And that's what's really, really important. So remember, this challenge is really a really important challenge, but it's simple. I'm going to sort of just dumb it down. I mean, the formula is you put in the work, which equates to having the progress of building your career. You put in the work, and you're putting in the work because here you are right now with all of us, because when you're present, you're part of the process of having that moment happen. And, we've got everyone back with us, the whole team. Lee is with us. You've got this support mechanism that truly gives you the opportunity to ask all the questions. And we're all here to support you. We spent yesterday on a countless day of Zoom calls. We were with you. It was a lot. We put the work in for you, and we want you to put the work in with us. And we're here to support you every step of the way. And I know, I truly remembered yesterday as if it was just a moment ago. And I hope all of you received what we received from Ann Palmer. Ann Palmer is just that magical person that we were talking yesterday, that we met her years ago. When we sat down to think about who do we want to bring to this challenge, we knew Ann was the perfect day 1 person to uplift us, focus us, and really give us the ability to see the clarity of what she brings. And we're doing that today for you as well. Joey and myself, we always try to find people that sort of step out of the arena of their specific careers. And who we're going to be speaking with first later on, I'll be speaking with you later on, we found through a friend of ours.
Yes.
Someone that we do business with in a different part of the country. And we were asking for someone that did not have the predictability in this category. And when we got her name and we investigated her and we looked into the steps that she has taken in her career, I truly believe we're going to be enlightened, including myself and Joey. We're going to be enlightened by her thought process, because everybody has a different thought process. Her thought process is very unique, and I'm looking forward to all of you being part of that. And listen, this is why we're all here. Like, I know we keep saying it. I know I have said this so many times in past challenges. I don't think I said it yesterday, but this is the program. This challenge that shifts into the mentorship program is something that I deeply wished deeply wished that I had in the building blocks of my career. And I'm thrilled to be part of it now, because we're not just giving you our information, our content, our mistakes and challenges and our successes, but we're learning from this as well. We're listening to our speakers, and we're growing along with that, with all of you, in the same process, which I think is wonderful. And remember, these tools that we're all bringing to you, we say this, we open up this arsenal, this toolbox, and all of these tools are here for you to build your businesses and foundations. And more importantly, right now more than ever, it's to build your confidence. I think a lot of our confidences have been somewhat squashed down because of the world that we live in, and I'm not going to allow that to get in our way. So we're here to take that confidence and not just build it up, but push it forward. And that's what we'd like to do for all of you. Yeah. And we're so proud of everyone that has joined.
And I think talking about the tools, there's so many tools. We have so many tools on the resource page on mentorwithdavid.com for our mentees. We also have so many just tools that we put out there through the challenge and through this challenge for the community. And Tori, you've done a great job of doing the recaps. You did a great video recap of yesterday. You created a one-pager, and there's other tools on the Facebook group. I'd love if you could just share with us real quick, if you can come on and share.
Good morning, everybody. So I'm Tori. If you don't know me, I'm your community manager so far. And I've had a bunch of tools put in there over the last hour that are new to today. There's some new personalized notes in the Unit 1 file section, and the recap section is in there too. And yeah, you guys, the feedback yesterday has been amazing. So keep up the good work. And yeah, everyone, it's so nice to see you all today.
It is great to see everyone today. And, please go in there, do the work, submit your homework. I got the first batch from Tori earlier today with the links to look through it. And it's really impressive. It's impressive to see the reframes of the perceptions, the beliefs, the judgments. We shared a special little gift on our Mentor David call last night that Anne was actually going to send her slides to that group. So if you do join the mentorship program, you will have access to Anne's slides, which are very exciting.
Very powerful.
Yeah. Lee, join us right now about your takeaways from yesterday, your look forwards for today, and where we're.
I was just thinking about what you just said, that we are sharing the slides from yesterday's presentation from someone that was so special to come into our lives. First of all, thank you for sharing, Anne, because she absolutely made incredible impressions on the community. She gave so many golden nuggets of things that people can do right now to help their mindset, which we've said every single challenge the very first day is we have to put our mindset in a place that takes us to a better future, a place that allows us to grow into our dreams, right? And what we want to create in our life. And Anne just set the stage so nicely yesterday with things that we can all put in place right now. I'm really grateful that the team put the notes together. We posted them. You'll see PB&J is in there. I am never going to look at a PB&J sandwich the same again. I feel like it's just got a whole new meaning, and it's more deep and it's more profound, and it's simple, but also really, really valuable.
It's so valuable because I think the work that we did yesterday, when you do the work to get past some of your fears, when you do the work to reframe how you have your belief system, your perceptions, your judgments, it gets you ready to be heard. It sets you up for today, for what we want to really get into. Because when you want to get heard, you want to have that self-confidence. You want to have that belief in yourself. Lee and I went in with our group last night after the Mentor with David call. We went with our little special group about the I am statements and just the critical reframes, even on those, of seeing that I am worthy, I am brave. It's not, I am not going to be scared anymore. It's no. Take out that negative piece. I am brave. Claim your braveness and go out there and do that. When you do that, when you make those declarations, when you make that stand, that's when you're ready now to really be heard and be heard in a new way. And that's where, without confidence, you no longer have that self-judgment in your head of, are these people going to like my message? Are they going to like what I'm going to say, what I'm saying to them? Especially today when we're going to talking about PR and marketing and ways of getting out there and being seen. When you can do that from a place of confidence and a place with knowledge and care and passion for what you're sharing, your message just goes exponentially farther. And that's what we want for.
You're so right. You are so right. And I'm watching the people that are mentoring with David now. And I'm watching how after every class, their confidence builds. They're sharing their stories more. They're sharing their wins, or even sharing their PR opportunities. I've seen people post in the group that they've been in magazines, local TV. They've had some PR opportunities because they did the first thing. They worked on their mindset. Then they had a clear message. And then they had more confidence to share that message. And it's step by step. So we did the first step yesterday. And boy, I just feel like I learned so much too. Like I didn't even know I was going to be coming to the table taking as many notes as I did. But last night I read them with my guests and I went over like what I learned. And I realized they were very powerful messages that we literally were putting in place right then. And I think because the mindset's in place now today, we're ready to craft the message and share the message. It is such perfect timing. I love the way you put the curriculum together. So it is really step by step. And we've already seen the success, right? With the people like we mentored with last night, when they switched their I am statements to something powerful and saw that 3 words, 4 words could change everything. It didn't have to be 500 words. It could be so succinct in just 3 or 4. That's such a brave, forward-thinking mission that now they have the momentum to make it happen.
I think that's what it's about, Lee. It's breaking down those barriers. Sometimes we create these barriers of, if we want to go do something, it has to be this big dissertation, all these words, all these actions. David broke it down so beautifully yesterday on the mentorship call about creativity. And that when you're trying to showcase your creativity, you don't have to make a 15-page deck. Make a 1 or 2-page deck even, to start showcasing what you can show in your creativity with the colors, with the layering of pieces and different things. Even creativity in how you present and craft an event, you know, from the timeline of it and the flow of it. So there's so many different ways. And again, I'm just excited that we're here now on day 2 to talk about, you know, really getting out there and being heard and being seen and what's next and how to do that and going on this deeper dive, because this is where the power is. This is why, you know, Melissa has had her best October ever. You know, here we are in the middle of what should be a bad time period for the event industry. Melissa had the best month ever in the event industry.
I started with their mindset. And she also did the work every single time. I'm so amazed at how she showed up. Very humble, even though she's been doing this for decades and she's a leader in her world. In her world, she is the guide. She is the leader, but she came here, she was coachable. She listened to you, she listened to David. She put things in place step by step. She started with her mindset. She even went and shared it with her parents so that she had accountability. She had cheerleaders. She had witnesses, but what she also did was she shared with us along the way when it was hard and she asked for help. And when it was something to celebrate, she came and celebrated, and the rest of the group celebrated. I think she paved the way next for Francesca to show up and have the same experience, right? We've been having a transformational experience with and through Francesca. I mean, I feel blessed that we know her, and I know she's probably crying right now as I'm saying this. But what I'm thinking is how much she inspires me as a mom with children at home and managing things, how she shifted her mindset, how she took verbatim things that you said about colors, about backgrounds, about showing up. And she's showing up as an A student. She's showing up where we can't help but notice how authentic she is, and vulnerable and bright and cheerful and forward thinking, and actually doing the work and reaping the benefits. And so like when people show up like that, we can't help but like take them, run with them, help them fly. And I think it just puts wind beneath your wings as well to see it actually working, right? Some people think it's a dream come true, And David's like, no, this is just life. This is just my life. I'm just sharing it with you. But for the rest of us, it is a little bit of a dream come true. We're very lucky. I mean, very, very lucky.
I think it's creating the life that you want. It takes a lot of work. You put in a lot of work, and you continue to put in a lot of work. We continue to put in a lot of work. You know, when you got started, there wasn't, you know, social media. There wasn't the internet. There weren't blog posts of ways to get out there. You had to hit the streets. You had to collaborate with others, learn from others, you know, share a little about that experience. I know you have in the past. And it was insightful for many people that you shared.
Yeah,
with.
I think it's important to make yourself known. I mean, most of my PR in the very beginning of my career, as Joey said, there was no social media. There was no ways to get out there with immediate gratification, was that I made myself physically and visually present at every event that I was producing and designing. I walked the room, I spoke to people, I spoke to not just vendors, but to potential clients. I made it very clear that I was the person that put this project together for this particular client. I networked nonstop. I mean, networking today is much different.
But you got visible in your community.
I got visible in my community in the region I was in, but then I expanded throughout the country. So having a voice and being kind and being honest and being open and letting people know, hey, you're new at this. You know, what can I do to get more awareness? Or, you know, I'm looking to, you know, work for other companies and do the projects that they may have for their clients. And that opens up doors. And when doors open, you get experiences that allow you to elevate yourself. And that's something I continue to do for probably over a decade.
Well, and I'm excited. Like I see we're Cece in our mentorship program. We've known Cece from our Data to Tear experiences. She's nurturing relationships. She posted in the Zoom chat that she has a meeting on Monday next week, and she's really trying to nurture a relationship, understanding that if she does, an article will probably happen. And it will happen. And I think those are the things. You build relationships, you build connections, you are interested, as we talked about, you get interested in other people, and then they get interested in you as well. It's a two-way street about that. It can't always be me. You do legitimately have to find interest in somebody. So if it is an editor, you find interest in the editor. You find that connection and you build it.
That is so valuable. I love that she shared that yesterday, because about 3 years ago, I was actually teaching a class at Harvard, and the speaker who went on before me was doing those commercials about the most interesting man in the world, the Dos Equis commercials. And he was on top of the world, and he was like in all these brands on being the most interesting man in the world. And because I was backstage with them before going on to speak, I asked him, what makes you the most interesting man in the world? And he answered, being interested. That's what he said. That's all you have to do is be interested. And that stuck with me for so long. And I think that's part of what I wove into my characters, really being interested about other people. And you guys know it. I love connecting with you, and I'm interested in your world and your family and what you're doing. And I love people. I just love people. And that's what he was coming from. He loves people and he was interested in them. So when she said that yesterday, it just hit such a home run for me. That is such a simple thing. And then she used the craft of silence and listen, same words, just in a different order, like same letters. Hitting it home that is such a valuable lesson. Be interested. When you show up with your clients, be interested in their vision, in their things, then go back and add your flair to it. And David has taught that to us many times. It's his natural way, and that's why it works so well. But she just gave us such a framework to make it easy.
And here's the cool part about being interested. This is the other piece of it. I think that we sometimes don't dive deep enough into realizing when you're interested, and then when you are listening, you're learning new things. You're seeing and learning and hearing new perspectives, new ideas, new ways of life, maybe different viewpoints in your viewpoint, but you're being interested enough to not shut the door, to actually open up and hear it. You might not agree with everything, and that's okay, but you're going to hear something new. And that's the beautiful part. That's how we grow. That's how we all grow. And so that being interested piece really goes a far way because it taps into so many different parts of our lives and so many different parts of them, what we can in turn go out and create and put out there, because we've opened up to new ideas, because we were interested enough to hear those new ideas, to hear somebody else speak, to hear what their viewpoints are, and to even listen to what their beliefs and their judgments might be too. We listen to them, they're theirs, they're not ours. We listen and we take what we like, and we might see how that could affect ours. But we really also honor that that's their stuff. We have our stuff. Like when you think about that, like I'm sure you faced a lot of judgment in your day of building your business, coming in even as the floral designer and everything else, that you had to, be able to stand up and to be not let it affect you. You had that with TV of seeing, people make the silliest comments on social media now that it is out there.
It's an armor. You put an armor around you. You protect your heart and your soul, because I think that as you succeeding is obviously important in all our careers. That's why we're here. But with that comes with a lot of negativity. A lot of people sort of start to look down on you and to get jealous of you. And you want to make sure you stand apart from that and away from it all. I know in the very beginning of my career, and I say beginning, I always refer to it as the first decade of my career. It's not the first month or first year. It was a long period of time, is that you have to prove that you're worthy of being hired. You have to prove that the people in the industry who are much more successful than you are actually believe that you're going to be great at what you do. And that's a hard hill to walk up and constantly continue to walk up, because, you always feel like you're set up to fail. And that was sort of the mantra that I had. I always felt like I was set up to fail. And that made me just work harder. And the harder I thought, wow, if I just try a little bit more, something a little bit more differently, I'll be more obvious to be known. And we have to find ways that let us stand out. And I know these are simple words we say, step out, stand up, step out, be known. It's not that easy, but those are the mantras that we need to make sure that we're focused on at every given time. I can tell you that every dinner party or every cocktail I went out to or every restaurant that I was sitting with strangers, the one thing I did very well, this is a moment where you have ears and eyes watching and listening with you, right? I don't brag about what I do, or then I didn't brag about what I did. But what I would always do is I would talk about the industry I was in. We have this alluring industry. When someone says, what do you do for a living? I'm a party planner. People have no idea what that means, at least back then. But they were intrigued to understand, well, what do? You better have a coined response fast that intrigues them, excites them, and makes them want to know more about you. Like if you ask someone what they did and they said, I'm an accountant, I'd shut down and walk away because I could care less about that, right? But if they said I'm an accountant for the movie industry or whatever it is, like they needed to give more intel, then you become a little bit more involved and interested. I did that every single time. I was not a billboard. I was not a braggadocious person, but I was simply trying to bring them into my world in the effort that I would get something in return, which would be a job. And it worked. Not every time, but a little bit spreads consistently. Your name gets out amongst communities.
So before we introduce our speaker here, you hit on one piece that I really want everyone to take home for this. When you're going out there to be heard, you're sharing your message, there's going to be people that disagree with your message. Some of them will be brutal and give brutal feedback back of disagreement with it. Body armor. You wear your armor.
Yes.
You realize that's their judgment. If what you're putting out comes from your heart, comes from a good place, comes from your knowledge and what you believe, that's what you're putting out. And you're okay. Not everyone's going to agree with it because we're all unique. We're all human and we all don't need to agree with each other. We need to respect each other. That doesn't always happen and that's okay. That's why we wear our armor, to not let it take it personally and not let it cut us down. And that's a hard thing sometimes to do. And yeah. I think that's where Leah and I were hitting last night with our group really hard of those I am statements and really believing in yourself. That
and
belief.
empowering yourself for where you want to go. And I think that's what you're doing with this step by step. And I absolutely love that today you're talking about amplifying our message, being clear about our message, taking it out to the world. This is such perfect timing for everyone. And we can support each other as we do it. We can absolutely find ways to support each other, share links, share ideas, share resources. So this is so beautiful to tee up this conversation. Thank you guys so much for bringing them to us. I can't wait. I'm going to be right here taking notes.
We're waiting for Christina to join us. She was on another call, so she's joining us in about 5 more minutes.
I'd
I'd love to ask you guys about some of your favorite PR opportunities, if that's okay. Because you've had so many. I mean, being on the View TV show, having all of the media around different programs you've done and product launches you've done. Like, what are some of the things, like when you think about it, it really lights you up about that experience?
Oh boy, you caught me off guard there.
Sorry about that.
That you had to do it itself is pretty amazing. I mean, you got to see the good, the bad, the ugly, but you got to see some very and engage with some very influential people. You know?
Yeah, every time I step into a PR opportunity, I always remind myself it's a moment. It's not defining who I am. So the moment you have to take very seriously. So whether that moment be, on 60 Minutes when they did a piece on me, you take that moment and you do the best you can to represent who you are as a person and as a brand. But then you walk away from that moment. It doesn't define, oh my God, look what I've done. I was on CBS 60 Minutes. Or, my time for 5 years consecutively as a regular on ABC's The View. I walked in, I did my job, I worked with Barbara Walters and all the women, and it never positioned me as someone that became uncontrollable and created a big ego, because that begins to ruin you. And I knew that every blip that I did, and those are blips, every one of those things, even a television show, whether I've done over 325 episodes over my career,
I thought you meant more coffee.
every single blip is a moment that people know more about you. And you walk away and you go back to your regular life, because PR is not normal. There's no normalcy of being in those positions to be highlighted, to be spotlighted, and to be on camera globally or nationally.
Well, because if you just become a personality, if you become just a personality, you're not going to have time to do bookings. Then it's going to go.
If you're a personality, you lose your person.
Correct. So I'm very excited to introduce you this morning to Christina Daves. She's a serial entrepreneur, an award-winning inventor. She's built a business in PR with no media contracts. And she ended up being featured in 50 media outlets in less than a year. She's the successful owner of PR for Anyone. Everyone tells you that PR is necessary to build your business and your career, but no one really tells you how to make it happen. Christina's going to share with us about her story. She's going to share with us some really innovative tips of how to get amazing results. She has a great book that she's going to talk about a little bit, the DIY Guide for Free Publicity, and bring you some new insights that I hope you take along with you and add to your toolbox to grow. Right, if you could spotlight Christina and bring her on to take over, that'd be wonderful. And then Christina, if you can unmute yourself.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm like, I'm muted. Hi, everybody. Thanks for coming. I'm so excited to be here. I get so passionate about this because this really changed my life, my business. And I want all of you to know that I have no traditional background in PR. I was a political science and German major in college. I didn't even take a marketing class. Like, there was no room for that. But I invented a product. I'm kind of always been an entrepreneur. I'll start with that. I had a job in Germany. I was going to go after college. My whole life was planned out. And my dad was diagnosed with stage 4 esophageal cancer. And this is back before cell phones and Zoom. And so I didn't go. I didn't take the job. I stayed with my dad until he passed away. And I was lost. I'm right out of college. Like, what do you do? So that kind of started my life of entrepreneurship. And I did lots of different things. I did event planning. I had my real estate license. I owned a fabulous retail store for 10 years. If we have any retail people here, you know, you get so burned out, right? I didn't have another holiday season in me. So I retired, but entrepreneurs can't retire. So I broke my foot. Any of you all ever been in one of those big, awful medical boots, right? They're so ugly. They're horrible. You have, Joey? Ugh, they're awful. So my husband and I were going to New York City, fashion capital of the world. And I was like, there's got to be something in New York, right? Somebody designed something to make this boot look better. So I'm on the train and I'm Googling, and there was nothing on the market. So my entrepreneurial light bulbs went off, and I swear my husband saw them go off because he kind of looked at me like, oh, here we go again. Here's another business idea. But I did the research and everybody loved the idea. And I designed this fashion line for medical boots. Well, the problem was I went through with it. We mortgaged the house. We maxed out credit cards. This was this fabulous new idea. I was going to be like the next Crocs and Gibbets, but I created this whole new space in the marketplace, and nobody knew that they needed to decorate their medical boots. So long story short, I was dead broke. I hired a retail expert. And this is why I think I'm so passionate about what I do, because I just got screwed so many times by hiring experts. So he took all my money, got me nowhere, and publicity was free. So I literally went to the library and started reading books about PR. And I'm like, I can do this. I think I can do this. And I started pitching, and they were really, really bad at first. And then I kind of figured out a system, which I'm going to share with you today, that works. So publicity changed my life. 50 media outlets in the first year business. I was on the Steve Harvey show. I won his top inventor competition, which changed my life. I'm dead broke. I won $20,000 after I was turned down from Shark Tank, and I made it almost to the end. So that was heartbreaking, but Steve Harvey changed my life. And then Diana Ross, one email, you guys, I got Diana Ross to wear my product when she sang for President Obama, like Christmas in Washington. She wore my product and is photographed in it. So I walk this walk with you all. Just know this. I'm not here saying, oh, just try it. It might work. I'm telling you it works. I was on TV twice in the last 24 hours. I was on CBS in Atlanta, and I was on ABC in Detroit. And somebody right before I came on said, does this work in getting business? So I had a consult yesterday morning, spoke with the woman. We really clicked. It was great. She sends me an email last night, and she said, oh my God, I turned on my TV. She lives in Michigan, and she sends me a screenshot. I'm on her TV. And she's like, this is a sign from the universe. I have to work with you. So it really does work. And just know, as I go through this, I do this every single day in my own business. So I'm not just telling you, just take notes. I promise this works. So the first thing, we're in a crazy, noisy world right now, right? I would give anything to have January or February 2020 back. It's a tough place that we're all in. And I feel everyone's pain on this call. I had a little breakdown in May. I'm telling you, my husband packed me up in a car and took me away for a week. He's like, you need to refocus and regroup. And this year will actually be my best year in business ever from this regroup. So know that what I'm telling you really can change. But what you have to do is you've got to cut through the noise. And messaging, before we even get to PR, the messaging piece is so important. I hear from so many people, oh, Christina, I can help everybody. David, I could do anyone's event. Yes, you can, but you found a niche. You know, you do these big, fabulous, extravagant galas. That's your niche. That's your expertise. And everybody here has a gift that we've got to hone in on. We've got to, I always say, look at a target. You know, what's your outer rim, then narrow it in a little. And what's that bullseye? What's that one thing that you do that's different from everyone in your industry? And I work with a lot of real estate agents, and I'll speak at an event and I'll get 100 clients. And some of them are like, well, how can you work with all of us? You're all different. Everybody has a gift. So we have to hone in on that, because you want to work with the people who want to work with you. So it's attracting your ideal clients through your messaging. So what's that niche? And it could be your nonprofit. It could be something that you're passionate about, not necessarily the line of work that you do. And then we've got to add in this whole 2020 factor of what are you doing differently now than you did before to attract those people in. I had to change everything. I'm a speaker. That's where I got my business. Well, all of a sudden I looked up, I finally tore my calendar off my wall because it was empty. I'm like, I had little orange stickies all through the year. I had all kinds of travel and all this wonderful stuff and all these events gone. So figuring out, what was my new approach? What did I do? And it's a lot of this, and it's a lot of digital, and it's a lot of getting my voice out there differently. So we all have to figure that out. So the niche, and don't say, the one thing everyone says, I am the best at this. This is the best product ever. We really got to hone in on what is your ideal client's pain point. So you've got to know your ideal, they call it your avatar. And you can find avatar exercises online. There are avatar exercises that will take you down to, my ideal client eats a Twinkie with a scoop of ice cream every night at 9:00. I've never gone that far in the exercises, but you really need to know, is your ideal client a man, a woman, 20 years old, 40 years old? Are they married? Do they have kids? Are they single? Do they commute to, well, nobody commutes to work anymore, but did they commute to work? Just how do you relate to them? Because your messaging needs to hit their pain point. And you've got to do it. They say that we have an attention span less than a goldfish. And I was on a call, and I can't find the study. I'm looking for it. But somebody from Lululemon said that our attention span has gone from 7 seconds to 1.5. That's really scary. I mean, if you think about, so you don't have time to say, hi, I'm Christina. I'm a publicity strategist. I've got to cut through the noise. And do you want more people to learn about you? Listen to me. I can help you do that. That's how I cut through the noise. And I see all this scrolling. So if there's any questions, you guys just interrupt me because I'll answer, but I'm a talker. So messaging, we've got to be different. You're not the best ever. And you don't want to service everybody. Figure out your niche, figure out their pain. That's what we're going to hit. So then the next step to this is the publicity piece of it. Do you guys have anything that I sent over, like the triangles or anything to put up? No, I can do it. I can do it right here. Did they get this sheet?
Yes.
Okay. So the thing at the top of your sheet, I call it my Get PR Famous formula. You want to be newsworthy. You want to create great hooks, and you want to find the right journalist. I'm telling you guys, the system works. I can honestly tell you, not one person I have ever worked with has called me and said, Christina, I did everything you said and it didn't work. I'm telling you, this works. If you do it, you have to do it, and you have to do it consistently. Now, a lot of people have results immediately, which is really good because then they love working with me. It's like within a week, it's like, oh, I'm already in the newspaper. I'm already on TV. But you've got to follow the system. So the newsworthy piece, that's where that honing in on the niche really comes in, because that's how you're going to find ways that you're going to stand out. The media doesn't want to just talk to the event planner. They want to know what kind of events you're planning. They don't just want to talk to the florist in general. Like, I worked with a florist, and one of the things we did is we had the morning show come out on Valentine's Day. but we ran a lot of B-roll because with the woman, it's a family-run floral company. They've been in this town forever. She hires high school kids the whole week before Valentine's Day, and all the work the high school kids do, snipping the flowers, putting them in their refrigerators, getting everything ready. It was a great story. They stayed there for 3 hours on Valentine's Day. It was amazing. The host even went out on deliveries. He was like the surprise delivery guy. So thinking about things like that, what's that unique thing that you can offer? So I'm going to give you guys a ton of ideas on how to make yourselves newsworthy. The first thing is what we call newsjacking. Has anybody ever heard of that? Newsjacking. It's where you take what's going on in the media right now and you find peripheral stories around it that you can relate to. So all we're really talking about right now is COVID. But all of you, and is everyone in the event space pretty much who's here? Okay. So there are so many topics that you all can talk about. First of all, the wedding industry, what a disaster right when everything happened, but the weddings are coming back. What's changing in the industry now? The woman that I was talking to, who I might work with, actually has an app that you could send like to your wedding guests, and they can pick their tables. So the families can choose to sit together, they're 6 feet apart so that you're not mixed with people you might not know. And, but what kinds of things are happening in the event industry now with COVID? Maybe it's moving outside, and here are the things we're doing so we could do more outside events in the winter. But knowing what's going on, and again, and I've never seen anything like this, where this entire year the news is COVID. But I mean, I've had hundreds of clients land in the media, all different industries. But it's knowing, again, it's that target, it's that niche. What are you doing that's different, and tie it to COVID. Now we're hitting in the holidays. Thanksgiving, they're like, don't get together for Thanksgiving. I don't know how many of you all live in California. Don't pass your mashed potatoes and there'll be no singing. I saw all of that. Like, what? But what can you all do to have a celebration? Maybe you talk about how you do it on Zoom. Maybe you talk about how you're going to separate people out in your house. We're actually redoing our basement and it'll be done by Thanksgiving. And I looked at my husband, I'm like, oh my gosh, we could do it down here because it's kind of big and spread out. I mean, we're not having a lot of people, but that way we can not be right on top of each other in my kitchen. But, Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, anything like that. What are people doing differently this year? If you are going to get together, what are things, party favors? Maybe you do individual dinners, something fun. Maybe you do the plate. Think of creative things. The morning shows, your local morning shows love stuff like that. Now, I will tell you, obviously everything now is Zoom. Watch your morning shows, see what they're doing, because you all are really morning show guests. I mean, in the event planning industry, it's very visual. We could do a lot of fun. You've got to know how to look good on camera. And if you can tell your morning show, hey, I get lighting and sound, I have all the stuff, I'll have a great backdrop, we'll set this up in my kitchen, I know how to do all of this, you're one step ahead of another person who's pitching a similar story. Let them know you understand this. If you don't understand this, research it. Talk to me. I can help you with that. You never want lighting behind you. You want the lighting in front of you. Again, make sure you know how to look into the camera. There's so many microphones you can buy on Amazon. You can plug into your laptop or your phone that will make you sound better. So that just gives you the little edge on that kind of stuff. So newsjacking, your story. What's your story? Why do you do what you do? And that can be incorporated into it. And how has it changed now since COVID? Again, the event planning industry got hammered. I have a client who owns a tuxedo shop. I mean, there's no proms, there's no weddings, she's got one more season, but coming up with creative ideas of things that you could do and again, you're positioning yourself as the expert in the event planning space. You're not selling your business. I mean, we all want, I heard David say, you know, and I actually joke about this. We all want an expose on 60 Minutes, but most of us are not going to get that. But positioning ourselves as an expert in our industry will drive business to you. You don't have to sell your business through the media. You can just position yourself as the expert. People are going to want to work with you. And you get the links back, and anyone's going to check you out before they work with you. So when they put your name into Google and newspaper articles come up, or magazines or television, it gives you the credibility and the authority to be the expert in the space. Are we good? I know I talk really fast.
Oh, what you're hitting on is so true and so great. I did it myself in one of my past businesses of really building those relationships with the morning shows. With the morning show and the midday show. Those were the two that I was on the most. And the first time I went on, I didn't know what I was doing, and I was scared. You know, my heart was beating here.
Yeah.
I stood up, you know, pulled my shoulders back and got ready. And I was excited about what I was doing. I let that passion from inside for what I was sharing drive me past that fear. And then I continued to build those relationships afterwards. You know, after that first appearance, it was asking, how did you guys like that? Did I do good? Was there anything else I could deliver differently? And then it was that listening of what was going on. I love your term of news, Jackie. I saw everyone lighting up on Facebook and Zoom about that.
Oh, good.
Because it's a great way to segue into what you're doing as part of the industry and how you're still coping in the face of the current realities that we're in.
Christina, can you share with everyone what steps and processes do they need to take to get the attention of a booker? Because I know that getting to a producer is impossible, but getting to a booker,
it's not anymore. It's now, and bookers are really national. So I'm assuming most of the people here need to start locally.
The morning shows on their local, whatever it is. Show.
What's really interesting since COVID, I used to teach this very differently. You can find the producer of the morning show. You can find them on Twitter. You pick up the phone and call the newsroom. Hey, who produces Good Morning Washington? This is how I got on. And they will give you the information. Everyone's so afraid of the news people. They think, oh, you know, this is higher power. They're not going to want to talk to me. They need us. They need you. They need me. They need all of us because they need to fill this time, you know, that they have. If you can give them good stories, do your homework. For example, I had this idea because I do so much with products and inventors and I love television that I wanted to do product segments. And I pitched. And I pitched and I pitched and I just kept getting no. And I joke because August is the slowest news time. It's your easiest time to get on television. And finally in August, they said yes. So I'm like, they just think nobody's going to see me. But I prepared you all. I recorded that show and I watched exactly how they did things. I kind of watched camera angles. Like I really, like you said, Joey, you want to know if you did well. I crushed it. And the minute I was done, they came out and they said the control room loved you. You come back anytime. And I had been back once or twice a month until COVID. I'd been in studio once or twice a month for 2.5 years. So this is what's so important. And you talked about being scared. I want to tell you guys the best story. My very first television appearance, before I ever did Zooms, talked on stage, I could barely get through a podcast interview. I was so nervous. So I land this thing on the Steve Harvey show. So I call my friend who's a hypnotist. He's in Philadelphia. I'm like, Brian, I can't do this. I cannot, I couldn't swallow. Like I had no saliva. They fly me to Chicago. They put me up in a hotel. I go and walk down by the lake. I'm like, I can't breathe. I'm so nervous. And he said, the best piece of advice, I tell this to everybody. He said, Christina, nobody there wants to see you fail. Everybody there is so excited for you that you have this opportunity. And I got there and I was so nervous. I was still and I looked in the audience and I can still see her clear as day, probably 65, 68-year-old African-American woman in a red sweater. And she smiled at me and her eyes twinkled. I'm like, I've got this. I've got it. and I've really never been nervous again. So just know if you get a gig on TV, everyone is so excited to see what you have to offer. They're so excited to hear your story. I think somebody put in there too about, haters and things like that. 99.9% of the time, people will love you and they'll be so excited about what you're giving to them. So don't ever worry about that. But my best piece of advice is prepare. Do your homework. And before you pitch, the more you can pitch your newspaper, your regional magazine, giving them something that they want, that they're already doing. Hey, I noticed every quarter you do this great segment or section on blah, blah. Well, I'm an event planner. Specifically, I do this is my niche. And I read this all the time. I think your viewers or your readers would really love to learn about this. Remember, your goal when you pitch the media, it's not about us. It's about the value you can provide their audience. And then when you build your pitch, that's totally related to their audience, and you can show them, wow, right, they're going to love this. Because what happens if they love it? They're going to share it. If they see it on social media, I have a good friend who recently retired. She's an anchor at Fox. And she said the mantra in the newsroom back in the day was, if it bleeds, it leads. You guys have probably heard that before. Now if it's shareable, it's airable. So think that when you're pitching the media, think about, wow, is somebody going to love this so much that they're willing to share it on their social media? Because those numbers are super important to the news people. And I will tell you on my Good Morning Washington, I always push it out on Twitter. I have a huge Twitter following. And one time I had a new gal, I'd given her the tweets, but she didn't understand how much we were supposed to do it in a day. And my producer called me, Christina, what's wrong? How come you're not pushing this out on Twitter? I'm like, no, we are. He's like, no, you've only tweeted once today. I was like, oh, let me check that. So that's the stuff they're looking at. You don't have to have a huge following, but you have an engaged following that could drive people to their magazine, to their newspaper, to their show. Okay, so we talked newsjacking, your story, super important. Thinking outside of the box. Don't pitch a story, event planning's awful now because of COVID. Duh, we know that. Give us some specifics. Give us what you're doing to fix the problem. Again, like I said, Thanksgiving, Christmas, holidays, New Year's Eve. What can you do that's safe? Maybe it's everyone has matching masks, or something for New Year's Eve. You know how they used to do the costume balls? Well, maybe we bring those back and you have the mask, the eye mask and the face mask. Come up with something that's unique, that's outside of the box. If you want to do television, and I keep talking about television because I just do a lot of it, but I didn't start that way. I told you I couldn't even do a podcast. I was so nervous. So this comes in time. So go where you're comfortable. All this stuff that I'm telling you, if you go where you're like, oh, I could easily send this to my local paper, do it. This is a challenge. I'm challenging you to go with what you're comfortable with and do it. This is the newsworthy piece. I keep an eye on the time. I'm going to give you all the steps so you guys can pitch the media. Well, we don't want to pitch on Fridays. You can get it ready over the weekend and you can pitch it on a Tuesday. Kind of a rule of thumb, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is best. Although with COVID, some of the journalists are like, every day is Monday, every day is Friday, but they're starting to go back. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Monday, you're back in the office, you've got the whole week to plan out. And then Friday, we're all thinking about Saturday. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, great rule of thumb in general. So go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that I love that. I love that you are introducing also this concept of find your starting point that's comfortable for you. It doesn't have to be the morning news show. No. It can be the local newspaper. And it doesn't have to be the major local newspaper. It can be a small community newspaper to start in.
And those are actually read more cover to cover. The little rags, like in my community, it's the Bull Run Observer. Those are read cover to cover versus the Washington Post.
Correct.
Yeah.
I think so. It's sometimes we overlook this really truly low hanging fruit. We walk right over it, and it's the best thing that we could capture. Could you share with us a little bit about, like, dive in a little bit for everyone that's just thinking and still sitting here on the sidelines or that top of their fence? They want to do it, but they're just not sure how to get off the fence post. What's a simplified, if you could, a simplified process of putting together a pitch, to put together how you're going to share this story?
Yeah, absolutely. Dear Joey, I follow your column in the Bull Run Observer every single month. I love what you cover. I'm a local event planner. And as you know, COVID has really impacted our business, but there's some amazing things that we've come up with to help people this holiday season to have safe, enjoyable events. Couple bullet points, here are a few ideas. I'd love to discuss this more if you'd be interested in doing an article. Here is my cell phone number. Always give your cell phone number. What that shows them is you're serious. Hey, I know you're busy. You can call me anytime. It's just that little extra thing. And I always I sign my name and it says cell, with my number.
That's great. And then everyone just remember, on your cell phones, clear your voicemail. Make sure you have a voicemail greeting that introduces yourself, so that if you do miss that phone call from them, they'll get a voicemail that's professional and put you in place.
And Brenda just asked about a press release, and you showed my book. I'm very controversial in this, but I have interviewed enough journalists to tell you that I say this with the utmost confidence. Do not spend $800 putting a press release out on the wire. You will not get publicity from it. The press release will be housed, and there are a lot of companies that are happy to take your money so you can say, as seen on ABC, NBC, CBS, and Fox. This is where I go with that. I'm very transparent and I'm a very honest person. If you have that on your website, I want to be able to click on it and see it. And when you get all this media exposure that you're going to get, because you're going to start to do this and it really does work, screenshot your page. If you're on a .com, if you get on television, screen record it, because it's still going to have their little logo on the bottom. Those links break after time. I was on something in Dallas, 8 years ago. That is no longer on their website, but I have it screen recorded on my YouTube. So again, everything I'm saying to you guys, you can check me out. I've done all of this. So that is my big pet peeve. So stay away from the press release. This system that I'm giving you, build relationships with 5 journalists, maybe then 10 journalists. I always like to start small. Where are you comfortable? Do the local newspaper. And let me tell you, we'll get to finding journalists in a minute, but a quick Google search and your local papers are often the editor and a reporter. And usually the reporter's the photographer too. So as you build these relationships with them, they're going to come back to you and you can send stories. Where I'm in the Northern Virginia area, we have a big paper called Inside Nova. And I had pitched and been in and sent clients to the editor, but I had never met him. And I was at a chamber event and he came up to me and he said, "You're Christina Daves, right? PR for Anyone." I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Oh, I'm Bruce Potter, editor of whatever." Gave me his number. I can text him anytime. I have a new client that he's like, "Oh, I'd love to hear your story." Like, he knows I'm only going to send him good stories, but this is what you can do locally. You build these relationships. They will love you. They're so busy, and the newspapers are running out of money. There's, especially now in COVID, with not a lot of advertising dollars. So if you can give them great story ideas, and it doesn't always have to be you. I was actually on a nationally syndicated show on Fox it was called The Next Great Thing. How do you take your idea from a napkin to store shelves? And the reason I was the guest on that show is because the news anchor at my local Fox, I had sent her so many other stories, not just me, that when that story landed on her desk, she thought about me because I was always front of mind. So that's the thing. You want to pitch. I pitch once a month. I tell my clients does everyone know what evergreen is? Evergreen is stories that are relevant at any time. So right now you could lay out a calendar for 2021 and come up with an evergreen topic for every month. Obviously, as event planners, you've got Super Bowl, you've got Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, Father's Day, graduation, prom. You have all these different things, wedding season. And then when there's breaking news, maybe the COVID rules change. I don't know. I think we're going back to lockdown status here soon, but be ready for that. What does that mean? What if you have a wedding planned and this happens? How can you advise on plan B? So I'm trying to read questions too. So those are your evergreen. Build out a calendar for 2021. Even it doesn't have to be pitches necessarily, but topics. Back to your expertise, hone in on your target. What can you talk about? And then when things happen in the world, if there's a big, celebrity sells, if there's a big celebrity party, if there's a celebrity divorce, the Kardashians just had the big birthday party. What could they have done to make that a safe party? As an event planner, if I was the event planner, and you hear that all the time, this attorney not representing Jennifer Aniston, same thing, this event planner who didn't plan the Kardashian party, but talk about things like that. Like what could they have done to be safe? Anytime you can involve celebrity, and I get asked this a lot, you don't have to be tied to that celebrity. If you are, it's even better. And David, you can speak to that. That's, but I had a client who, a real estate agent, who represented Linda Hamilton, you remember from the Terminator, and she had a farm in Virginia, who knew, and she was selling her farm for her. And I said, well, you've got to pitch the Washington Post. And she's like, oh, I can't do that. I said, call Linda right now and tell her you want to talk about this celebrity in this community selling her home. And if it gets in the Washington Post, 1.8 million people are going to read about it. What do you think Linda said? Of course, she said yes. And they sold her house that day, the day the article came out. And she got multiple, other sales and buyers, and it, went viral with all the local papers. So celebrity sales, how can you tie in? Maybe there is a big outdoor celebrity wedding, and you could talk about the way they set it up, the way they did social distancing, and why this is such a great idea. So look at, again, that's kind of back to the newsjacking, but keep an eye on, people.com, Entertainment Weekly, and all the newspapers. You can sign up. Like every morning I get like a rundown, and the Skim is great. I don't know if you guys get the Skim every day, but it's just it's actually really funny. I love to read it, but it just breaks down everything going on in the world. You can get it from CNN, USA Today, New York Times, Wall Street Journal. So I look every morning, I wake up and look at my phone and see what's newsworthy and send ideas to all my clients. Like, hey, this story just came out. Because when you have a story like that, use that as your credibility when you do your local pitch. Hey, the Wall Street Journal just did an article about X, attach it. But I think, the local community would love this because blah, 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 blah. And especially if you can do the opposite, like do a controversial one. The media loves controversy. If something happens, but that wouldn't be applicable to you because of A, B, and C. Hey, this national study just came out, but that would never happen here in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, because blah, 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 blah. So we should be doing X, Y, and Z. So that again, and it's all of this is muscle memory. I know I'm fire hosing you all, but take the one thing, just the one thing that resonates with you right now and say that, because I want you to do it today. Like, I want you guys to spend the weekend. I want you to write your pitch out, super easy. I want you to find your local journalist. We're going to talk about hooks in a second too, because and then I want you guys to all email me in 30 days when you've all gotten media exposure, because I'll push it out to all my people. I love success stories. Okay. So media, celebrity. Calendar, the calendar. Obviously we have, I keep talking about regular holidays, but then you have the crazy holidays, and the media loves this. So I had a client who has a product called Slausa. if anyone's ever heard it. It's in grocery stores across the country. It's a mix of coleslaw, salsa, mustard, and it goes on hot dogs. And my client had heard Dylan Dreyer on the Today Show say she loves to just load her hot dogs with stuff. And I would never tell you to send anything to the Today Show ever. But in light of that, she wrote a handwritten note that said, I heard Dylan say she loves this. So hopefully, and we know what happened, someone in the mailroom read that note, knew it was legit, gave her the Slasa. National Hot Dog Day. We had no idea it was going to happen. National Hot Dog Day. There's Dylan Dreyer holding her jar of Slasa. And she's like, this is the greatest thing ever. You guys, 7 million people saw Slasa that day for National Hot Dog Day. I was on, when I told you I started pitching, my first time on my local station. Get ready, you guys can all Google this. National Healthy Foot Month is April. And that is what I pitched. I had to do the whole pitch around it, but I got on TV for that. But I have so many clients. National Honesty Day. I had a former client who wrote a book about honesty in business. So what, and I'm telling you right now, there is National Floral Day. There's National Balloon Day. There's probably National Throw a Party Day. So look at those, anything related to your specific niche in the event industry, pitch that. And you're going to see it all the time now. You'll be like, that's exactly what Christina said. They do cover this. So find that. And again, back to the morning shows, that's much better for TV. TV is very visual, and you all have visual businesses. I don't see that as much in newspapers. You know, maybe today is National Balloon Day, but that's really more of a TV kind of spin. But it's also great content for you all. No, everything I'm telling you about pitching the media, if the pitch doesn't work out, you got great content. You've already written it. So just moving on over to Instagram. Yes.
Christina, so when someone sends a pitch and a pitch does not go through, either you don't hear back from the booker or the producer,
Yeah.
or you've chosen to pass, what are your suggestions on how many times you continue to reach out and to the point of no return?
Excellent question. So you pitch Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, follow up with a phone call. I know you guys are like, wait, what? Make a phone call to somebody I don't know? Yes, they actually like it. Follow up again, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You know, hey, this is Christina. I sent in this pitch last Thursday, or I don't like to use the word pitch. I sent in this segment idea, story idea. Talk about one big element that's in there. As you know, National Balloon Day is November 30th. And I thought it would be really fun to, you know, have you all come out, socially distanced event. We'll do a big balloon launch. I'm making this stuff up. You guys know, we'll do a big, actually, we don't want to launch balloons anymore. Probably it's not safe, but we'll do a big balloon thing, structure. So, and then you're saying all this, and then you say, I know how busy you are. I know your email's full. I'm just going to shoot it back to the top of your email box right now. So if you want to take a look, my cell phone number is blah, blah, blah. Give me a call if you're interested. Boom. That's it. So you've emailed once, you followed up with a phone call, you bumped it up. If you don't hear from them, I recommend to all of my clients to pitch once a month to the same reporters. Don't pitch the exact same story to the same 4 television stations, or if you have 3 newspapers, you got to tweak it a little. They get, right, David, you know this, they get a little territorial. They want the exclusive, but you can do enough spin. National Balloon Day, come up with 4 ideas and pitch each one a different one. Or you could pitch one, your pitch 2, and then if this one doesn't bite and this one doesn't bite, flip-flop them, you know.
Add to just a couple things that have worked for me in being on shows. It's really interesting. So when you arrive as a guest and you've been pitched and you've been selected and you're coming on and you're so nervous, which happens often, right? One of the things that I learned was it's the closest people around you that could be the most important people to move you forward. And you may never speak or ever see or ever hear the executive producer. But on the floor, there's typically a stage director, there's an associate producer, the makeup person, the hair person, the booker. All of these people are your allies. And what I always have done from the very beginning and still continue to do is I bring them into my orbit. I bring them into my experience of being there. So I become very social and friendly with all of them. You start to remember people's names. You have a call sheet typically. You keep those names and those contacts with you. They're giving you free information. And you always want to make sure, like if I would do a segment on the talk and there was food related, there's a food stylist that comes over. You thank them for their work and tell them how great they're doing. Trust me, most people pay zero attention to anyone in the world right there. And those people talk amongst themselves behind the scenes when you leave, and they'll say, you got to have this guy back because he's prepared, he's kind, he's connected, he's great on camera. Just being great on camera sometimes isn't enough. If you can go into a segment and lessen their workload by being prepared, they're going to book you quicker. Even, by the way, if someone's been booked for your position on a future project and they have canceled or can't make it, they're going to call you because they know you're going to step up and be able to do it. So those relationships, that spider web that you make amongst every show you're on, whether it be local or national, they're going to remember you, and it's really worked.
You are absolutely right. By the time I leave a studio, I'm hugging everybody, including the mic people.
Yes.
Like, you know, and ladies, know this when you wear a dress. There's a guy who's going to be unzipping your dress and snapping something to your bra. But I always say they have the best job in television. But no, you're so right. And those people move around.
They do.
One of my best PR stories, and if for those of you who've been around for a while, do you guys remember the Examiner blog? It's like the first blog that really came out, the first big blog. So this woman did a story about cosmetic, and you know, I could have poo-pooed her like, oh, I'm not going to be an Examiner. But I said, this is great. I used it for experience and I learned a lot. And she was so lovely. Well, 2 years later, she ended up getting a job at Forbes. And she reached out to me and she said, Christina, I always loved you. I loved your story. I just pitched you to my editor. We want to do a story about you. I got in Forbes. I didn't even have to pitch, like, because I was kind and available. And that goes, you would be surprised how many people are not nice. You know, they think, oh, I'm on TV, you know, where's my hair? Where's my makeup? And I'm like, oh, can you come home with me? Like, I love you. But you, and that's how you get asked back over and over again.
Relationships that you create and everyone, and again, no matter what level you're at in PR, those people, those relationships will spawn off to other opportunities. Just real quickly, and I'm reminding myself of what I did and didn't realize I was doing it then, I was put on to the Wayne Brady show. He had a talk show 20 years ago, right? So I was on that show, and every associate producer, not executive producer, we're talking bottom of the row producers, all of them I became friendly with, went out for drinks with them after, you know, I socialized with them for a short period of time. They all wound up, every one of these people I know still are now executive producers, and they have brought me on to all of their shows, from The Talk to Tyra Banks, to all these shows. They said, well, David's going to give us a 5-minute segment. We don't have to worry about it. It makes them look great. So they bring you along on their journey.
Exactly.
And remember, that's our job as guests or interviewees, is to make them look good, to their audience, because that sells more newspapers and magazines and advertising dollars. So again, just being that valuable resource for them, you will constantly be able to go back. And like you said, they move on, they move up, and they will remember you.
Yeah.
It's super important.
I've seen a lot of great comments and feedback from the folks, our VIPs on Zoom. If there are any other questions before we wrap up with Christina, I would love to just get a couple more insights. Or Christina,
I'm going to give you the last two super quick, because the formula doesn't work if you don't have all the pieces. But the newsworthy is the big chunk. Hooks. You've got to hook the journalist in on that subject line. Don't just say, here's a story idea for you. And somebody said in there, they get 60 to 500 emails, sometimes before noon. So you've got to hook them in. Look at magazine covers. Magazine covers, where do we buy them? impulse purchase at the grocery store. Where else are you going to spend $7 just by what the front of it says? That's a hook. Look at magazine covers. It's a great way. And you can Google. I always joke now that I get AARP, they have really good hooks though. And you can Google AARP magazine covers and and don't copy. I always say, don't plagiarize. I don't want anyone to say, well, Christina Dave said her strategy is to just copy hooks. No, I want you to look at that. That's a good hook. Anything that will get a journalist, like it gets you to open a magazine, it gets them to open your email. And then the last part of the puzzle is, how do you find that right journalist? And I'm really focusing local, but this works for national too. Who writes about X for Y? Now, you probably are not going to have people who write about event planning. You might have to dig a little bit in your local paper, but for sure, who is the business editor for the Fairfax Times? Start with that. And locally, you will almost always get their name, their email. Usually you get the little button that you can pre-populate the email, and you'll get a phone number because we have to do that follow-up call. Don't be afraid to pick up the phone and call the newspaper, call the magazine, call the newsroom. Hey, I've got a great story about event planning and COVID. Who would be the best person to send it to? Oh, and I think I started my thought and I didn't finish it, which would not be the first time. The new thing now with newsrooms, I used to have you find the right producer. And what's so much easier now, this is the one benefit post-COVID, they now, when you email, let's say, newsroom@abc7.com, it now goes out to everybody. It's a blast. Where it used to go into one hub and then somebody would decide, oh, maybe Christina wants to see that. Maybe Joey wants to see that. Now it goes to everybody. So it's like the old fax machine. You used to fax in your pitches and they would sit, on the table, and whichever journalist thought it was good. So when I got in the Washington Post, finally, she said, why didn't you send this in before? I said, I've been sending you stuff for a year. And finally, somebody who related to my story saw my pitch, and that's how I got in. So that's how you find the journalist, and consistency. You want to stay front of mind. And that consistency can be offering somebody else as an expert. Doesn't always have to be you. That provides value. That builds a relationship with the journalist. I don't know how much time I have, but go on Twitter too. Follow your journalists on Twitter, whether you're on Twitter or not. You can create a Twitter list, which you want to just create a list called press list, and you can move people over. I think it's the 3 dots. If anyone can't figure it out, you can Google it, reach out to me. It's not hard. And I'm not that good at this stuff. But that way you can follow your journalists. A lot of the local ones will put out requests. Hey, I'm looking for an expert in this. Hey, I need this. And then you don't have to respond on Twitter. You can email them or call the station or call the newspaper. Hey, I saw that Christina's looking for blah, blah. How do I reach them? And they'll give you the email address.
That's awesome.
So that's the formula in a nutshell. Who's going to pitch starting right away? Yay!
Everyone.
I want to hear all the success stories.
Thank you, Christina. Thank you for
so much.
enlightening everyone to understand that they are capable of making it happen.
Yay. And I've got a little blueprint if anybody wants it. Can I put that in the chat? It's free, but it'll give them kind of a step-by-step of everything we talked about.
The more info, the better it is.
Yeah, please share the blueprint and we'll put that into our Facebook group as well.
If I could type. But thank you all so much for coming. I know time is valuable, and I'm glad you were here, and I hope you loved it.
Thank you for being part of it. Thank you so much. We're going to move right along on to our next person that's going to grace our challenge today. And we're really excited to bring someone into the mix that is not in the event industry, not in PR, but she is in the world of making others smile. And if you think about this, that is exactly what we do as people in an industry of making people smile. And Callie is someone that we want to introduce. Callie Day is a native of Atlanta, Georgia. She has performed with the Miami University of Opera, the Cincinnati Opera, the Bowling Green Opera, the University of Kentucky Opera, and has graced the stage of America's Got Talent twice. Callie graced the altar and sang at our very own wedding, which is how we met her. And we were honored to walk down the aisle to the voice of Callie. What's really interesting about Callie is that when we found her, we found her just late at night by finding her on YouTube. We saw a YouTube video that she had posted that I believe now has 24 million views. So we are going to bring a little video up right now to show you a little bit about how Callie makes others smile in a really unpredictable space.
Welcome to Walmart.
I love Callie. She's just a joy to be around.
She really looks out for her customers that she has to come in.
She brightens the entire area.
Oh, yeah, she's great.
Callie is an associate that's up in our pharmacy.
Always happy. She's a people person.
It's young.
She loves to sing.
She's singing, she's smiling, she's making people feel welcome.
Very positive and happy personality.
Uplifting. Yeah.
She uplifts the other associates.
You never walk by her on a bad day.
She comes by my office at least once or twice a day.
And she's always singing.
Happy birthday
Sings me a tune on her way to the clock or back up front.
to you.
I love to sing. The most melodious voice.
She's a dynamic singer, and she sings it so passionately that you're feeling it inside of yourself through her spirit and her songs.
I do appreciate Callie's spirit and the way she motivates others around her.
Even if it's not in her department, she still go above and beyond.
Kalia, come here, baby. She just made you feel so at home. She gets you in and out. And I love all that. I need that some days.
She's very recognizable in the community.
We always have customers that are looking for Callie.
The customers are very aware of her personality. They seek her out.
You can just tell that she connects with everyone. Callie has just had such a phenomenal impact on the community, and she just always blesses us. Such a great asset. I wish I had 100 of her.
Over the last 11 months, Callie and the team has grown the pharmacy over-the-counter business by 11%.
Miss O'Brien.
We're very proud of Callie
Miss O'Brien.
and what she does for not only our store, but the community.
There you go, my love. Have a good one. You're welcome.
Welcome to our challenge. Someone who is the maker of smiles, Callie Day.
Good morning, everyone. How are you all? Thank you for having me. First of all, I want to say thank you, David and Joy, for this opportunity and to welcome everyone. I am nervous as anything. I'm very nervous. I just want to let everybody know how important it is for us as a people, as a person, to have a smile. Now, I know there are days when we don't feel like smiling. Hey, I admit to it. I'm the same way. But when you get up, you have a reason to smile. You know why? Because you have the opportunity to see another day that was not promised. So that's a smile right there. Thanking God, your God, for allowing you to see another day that is not promised. We only have today. And what we do for today makes a big difference. So if you are presented with lemons, the first thing I do is make some lemonade, okay? So don't let the world get us down, because we are currently in a situation that we will never, ever see in our lifetime ever again with this pandemic. But even though we have this pandemic going on and we go through day by day, having to wear our mask, it's kind of hard to not see the smile, but you know what? You can smile with your eyes and just say, hi, how you doing? And now you might be, mean mugging them underneath, like, hi, how you doing? But as long as you have those eyes smiling, like, hi, how are you? Are you having a good day? Versus, right there, there's no smile. I can still say, hi, how you doing? Have a wonderful day. Oh, but you see, my eyes are still telling the story of, I don't want to be bothered with you. Versus having the smile, it all leads up to your eyes. And just take your time. Just, be a people person. And it's kind of hard to be a people person, especially when people are mean mugging you and talking about you and being jealous. But the main thing I would love to make sure that we all know that as long as you are happy and you know that you are on top of the world, you love doing what you do. I love to sing. I feel that that is my gift or my mantle. And if you don't receive or feel happy after I have sung the song, then I didn't do my job. And I take that seriously. I really do. I feel that whatever, if it's a sad story, if it's a happy story, I make sure you, the audience, knows and feels that, because I'm a feeler. I always tell my students, baby, if you love to sing, then that's what you need to be doing. Don't let anybody take that away from you. So if you know how to sell a book or a pencil and you turn around, this pencil is this, it's going to do this, it writes, it does that. As long as you prove that, oh, well, I'm going to buy your pencil or I'm going to buy your product. Now, David, what more do you want from me? I mean, I'm just as nervous as anything.
Be you, and I want you to now grace the screen with your beauty of your voice and the smile you have, and the comments coming up on the board are exactly what I wanted. I want everyone to smile.
Okay. Here we go, y'all. I hope this blesses you.
Love you, Cal.
All right, my love. Everything will be all right. You are my refuge, and in trouble in me, and with you by my side, I know that everything will be all right. Oh, yes, everything will be all right. If not for you, I never could have made it. In all my trials, you pulled me through. Though I've been down, but I'm never forsaken. I know everything will be all right. Yes, yes, everything will be all right. It's gonna be all right. It's gonna be all right. Yes, everything will be all right. It's gonna be It's gonna be alright. Oh, everything will be alright. Everything is gonna be alright. Oh, everything, it's gonna be alright. Oh, it's gonna be alright. Oh, everything will be. It's gonna be alright. We gotta have the faith of a mustard seed. Everything is gonna be. Oh, everything is gonna be. It's gonna be. We gotta have the faith of a mustard seed. Takes one day at a time. Everything is gonna be. Everything is gonna be. It's gonna be alright. Everything is gonna be. It's gonna be alright. Oh, everything will be alright. Ah, Lord have mercy.
Beautiful.
My prayer in the morning when I rise. It's your servant bond for glory. Oh, dear Lord, please hear my prayer. Oh, Lord, please hear my prayer. Keep me safe within your arms. It's your servant bound for glory. Oh, dear Lord, please hear my prayer. When my work on earth is done, and you come to take me done with sin. And sorrow. Have mercy, mercy. Ooh. Amen. 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 Amen.
Callie,
Yes, my love.
thank you.
I
Thank
love
you. There's
I
so
love you.
many virtual hugs that are going around on Zoom and on Facebook. It's so much love coming around. You brought your gift, your message, your singing, your all of you to everyone I think who just needed at this right point in time for them.
Any blessings.
The reactions I saw around our Zoom room were just everything everything connected and beautiful in this world. So just thank you for sharing with us and your message of every day is our gift. Every day, you know, those days we don't want to smile, yeah, that's our choice. But woke up. So you should find a reason to smile because you woke up.
Most definitely.
Thank you, Callie, for obviously being who you are. Not just a beautiful voice, but a beautiful heart and soul. And I always believe that when someone can make someone smile and truly make them smile, it makes their heart smile. And that's the importance of what we all need to lead with. And one of the reasons, besides making others smile, which is why we wanted you to share your talent, your voice, is that we all need to remind ourselves in our industry that this is what we do for a living. We are about bringing smiles to the guests of all the events that we want to create for our clients. And we don't want to say goodbye to you yet, because I want to show them something that I think how they made everyone smile in that amazing theater when you got talent. So show this video real quick. Oh, we need the sound.
I started singing the children's choir. My happy place was always singing. That's where you could find me.
I've always wanted to perform, but that door has never opened.
In 2014, I was at church and a friend of mine happened to record me. Right now, the video has 24.9 million views.
And I knew this is my time
to be heard.
The average pop star age is 19. But you have an amazing voice. I'm going to recognize that voice in the crowd.
Now that I'm back again, I'm more nervous. There's so many talented singers. I've been nervous before, but this one is a different nervous. This one is really big. This is big. This is big. This is probably my last chance to do what I love to do best. I'm thankful for this opportunity, and I hope to win. Amen.
Callie Day.
Hello.
How
Hello.
are you?
I am blessed.
Yeah, we are blessed to have you here.
Thank you.
You blew the
Thank
roof
you.
off the place the first time.
Thank you.
Are you going to leave this roof on this time?
I plan on probably hurting a couple of folks today, hopefully.
You know what? I can't wait any longer, so I wish you the best of luck.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I went up to the mountain
Love this.
up over the clouds, and though the clouds are blue, I can wait no more. You see, sometimes I lay down. No more can I do. See, sometimes I look down, but I'm afraid I'll fall. And though the sun is still shines, I have nothing, nothing at all. But then I hear a sweet, sweet voice, come and go, telling me softly you love me. So
Throw away that piano! Throw that piano in the garbage, baby! Throw that instrument away!
Oh, Callie. Oh, my goodness. Oh, you ended our second day challenge with such an uplifting, powerful voice. Thank you for making, I think, a combination of everyone smiling, but also everyone crying of happy tears.
Many blessings.
That's what we hoped for, wished for. And if you can close us out, Callie, with just any words of encouragement and wisdom, we would be grateful. We adore you, Callie. We love you as a person, as a talent, but as just the ability, as we knew, to make others smile.
That's amazing, amazing human being. Thank you.
Many blessings. If I can't leave anything, I will say this. Life can be awesome, because I wrote this down to make sure I don't forget, because I want to keep from crying. Life can be awesome if we allow it, but always hold your dreams close to your heart. Be the best you can be, and always be a team player. Don't be it's I, it's me. If you be a team player, like Miss Christina said, they called her back. I was a team player. I just received an email stating that I'll be coming back to Paris to do the opera again. So once everything lifts up, I'll be going back to Paris to do the opera again. So be the best you can be, but please be a team player. It doesn't hurt to say yes, ma'am, no, sir, and all that, as y'all saw in the video. Even though we were probably the same age, I still gave respect to whom I was around, just like to both you, David, and Joy. I still say yes, sir, no, sir, of course. So be the best you can be. I love you all. Be blessed, and peace be multiplied.
Thank you, Callie.
Amen to
Thank
that,
you so
Callie.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you. You have love from around the world coming to you right now from everyone who was blessed by hearing you today. Thank you. Be the best you and be a team player. And it is that humble, beautiful soul. It's that having grace in all that we do and being able to share that. That's what it's about. And that's, I think, how you really can stand up, stand out, be heard and be known, and be known in such a great way. Be known for your grace, be known for your beauty that you share and that gift, and that you will go out there, you will serve others at the best you can, because we are in a service industry with what we do. And so we are of service. So
our job is to make people happy. Our job is to make people detached from their everyday lives and walk into our world of the beauty that we create for events. And that's a very big responsibility to hold, but one that all of us can do, and we do, and we will continue to do, because we have a passion for what we do. And that's what's most important.
Yeah. And so just as we talked about yesterday, and Callie did it here with us with music, of how music can change your day, your life, your viewpoint.
Yes.
I'll use that as your self-care at times, and remember that piece. It's a big piece that we talk about in our mentorship program with mentorwithdavid.com of take care of yourself. Take care of yourself so that you can take care of others. We thank you all for the time you spent today with us on Facebook on the challenge. Please go in, do the work in the units. Christina Daves shared amazing content this morning, and we have a great worksheet from her that's in the unit section. So please do that. Please follow Callie, follow her on YouTube. You can hear more of her and you can see her. Subscribe to her YouTube channel and give her love and share it with others. But we thank you for your participation for today, your involvement, your engagement, because you make this real. You make our movement that we're on here together. You make our community so much stronger, so much better. You make it this place where I saw so many on Facebook and on Zoom of, we just all need a virtual hug with each other. And that's a beautiful thing, because we're all part of this together. It's not a me thing. It's, no, we're here, we're together. You had the beautiful cries. So thank you all.
You guys just modeled such great stuff, though. Like you said, just yesterday, you talked about the power of music. And then today you modeled it. You absolutely showed us firsthand how just placing someone so talented with your audience, with your guests, in your experience, even on Zoom, you just proved it. Even on Zoom, we all got emotional. I got so emotional. I had no idea that was coming, but it was such a gift. And everyone was writing in the chat, this is what they needed. This is what we needed. It does help heal us. And just yesterday, Callie, David said the power of music. And I was with him in Bermuda last year, and he had an entire choir sing for us. And it was incredible how we were all held and how we were all united through that music. It was a great experience, but that made it so much deeper. And what he did was he modeled that for all of us today by bringing you on. And you are such a gift to the planet. And we're so grateful, every one of us, that we got to experience this with you today. You touched our hearts. You inspired us to a whole nother level. And David and Joey, that you can make this happen is a huge gift. And I can't say how much it moved me, but it did beyond words, really. And I love you for that. Thank you, thank you, thank you to you guys.
Callie, come back on. You had something else that you're sharing?
Yeah. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Some of the loved ones I saw them flipping real quick. Yes, I still do have some CDs left. I personally signed them. I can send you a signed copy. They're $10 plus $5 for shipping and handling. You can email me or send your address to me so that I can send it to you. I do have a Cash App, which is $ capital P SALMIST capital D small r capital D small a and y, Psalmist Dr. Day. So that's what you can do. And I'll send, thank you. That's it right there.
We're going to send you all that information that Callie just read out loud, so you all have the proper info if you want to go ahead and purchase her CD, which of
There you
course,
go.
so we'll take care of that for you, Callie.
Oh, I love you. Thank you guys. This was so awesome. Miss Christina, you have blessed me. And I believe her name is Leah. Oh, you blessed me too. Thank you so much. I've really enjoyed this. I need to sign up for your class.
Thank you.
I'm serious. With me being an independent artist, I'm doing all this by myself.
Yeah.
CDs, everything. I did all this by myself. And, you know, with the help of the GoFundMe, that was it. So I've learned a lot about how to reach out to be different. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Callie. Thank you, everyone, for joining us on Facebook today. We'll see you tomorrow for day number 3. We're excited to bring you that day. And now we'll be going into our VIP Zoom room. So for you VIPs, please stay on. Don't log out yet. And for everyone on Facebook, we will see you tomorrow morning.
Bye, everyone. Thank you. Have a beautiful day.